Good evening, everyone, and welcome. As the BRL Dirt Street Stock Series takes on Cedar Lake Speedway, you can see some of the characteristics of the track on your screen. Currently at a short track, the Cedar Lake Speedway obviously very well renowned. The iRacing pace truck is getting ready to pull down pit road as we get started for the first heat race. The lineup for this race, as you can see on the upper left-hand portion of your screen, Northcutt, Hargraves, Joe Segala, Hardin, Kevin Nunn, Stephen Spees rounds out the field. Put their foot on the loud pedal. You can see Northcutt rockets away. Huge start for him. You can see the rest of the field still trying to play catch up. We'll see what they can do for the rest of the race there, John.
Yeah, first heat race of the night. Track's going to change a whole lot through this heat race. You're going to have a lot of tack, a lot of grip out there, and they're going to be able to run hammer down for most of this heat race here.
Currently, it's Billy Northcutt doing a really good job to stay ahead of William Hargraves. Last time out, John, the man who won the pole sat on pole, who won the first heat race and qualifying, then sat on pole. They led every single lap of the last race, all 40 of them, and then went on to win the race. We'll see if Billy Northcutt can do that this time out. I believe last time it was William Hargraves.
Yeah, it's a big advantage starting on that front row. You don't have to worry about guys, taking your line away or having to brake not to hit them or whatever in the corner if you've got more pace than somebody in front of you. That clean air, as NASCAR circles like to call it, I like to call it the no dirt zone up front there. That's the place to be for sure.
Well, the closest battle on track is trying to fight for that clean air position. That's Stephen Spees on the inside of Jeffrey Harden. This is for third position. Only the first two positions in this heat race will automatically advance to the feature. Everyone else is going to have to duke it out in the C and B mains. And what they're fighting for right now is a position, starting position, in one of those main events. So it's all going to go down to who gets this spot is going to start on pole for the C main.
Yeah, a good battle here between the two of them as they come around for the checkered flag here. It looks like it's going to be Harden that's going to hold on to that spot, and Spees is going to finish up behind him there.
Yeah, Billy Northcutt goes on to win the heat race, so he and William Hargraves automatically advance on to the feature event. Kevin Nunn and Joe Segala round out the field, with Segala taking the fifth position. Starting grid for heat number 2, it looks like Brandon Proudfoot on pole. Jason Mendes starts to his outside. In the second row, it's Robbie Robinson on the inside, Butch Baker on the outside. John Wilson, Malachi Smith round out the field. John, last time it looked like Billy Northcutt chose the inside line. Do you see the outside kind of viable yet?
No, not yet. You've got if you look here as they come around turn 4, you're going to see a lot of really techy stuff there on the bottom. That's going to allow Brown in there to get a really good launch. You're starting to see a little bit of a slick spot, on the corner entry is right there. They go through it, and coming out of the corner, you'll start to see right about where the pace truck is. The field's starting to go through it there. You'll see that slick spot there. So if he's down below that, and let's say Menda is in it, when they go to fire, Menda might spin the tires a little more than what Brandon will, and Brandon should get a whole shot down the straightaway.
So the track currently very much inside dominant, bottom dominant. We'll call it the lights are out atop the iRacing pace truck. So through turns 3 and 4 this time by, he's going to scamper off down the front stretch to make sure he can make it down pit road before the field fires off. See him pull down to the inside there. He's going to have to put his foot down. Brandon Proudfoot puts his foot down as well. You see Jason Mend on the outside. John, you called it perfect. Jason spins his tires just a little bit, gives an entire car length advantage there to Brandon Proudfoot. But look at the run Robbie Robinson's getting.
Yeah, Robbie's working the bottom here, and he's making up some ground there on that second place car, that number 45 there of Jason Menda.
Jason Menda currently still just riding right around that slick transition spot you talked about, John. And we call it the slick, but these guys are, they're utilizing that slick zone, the transition period between that brown stuff and then that really dark brown stuff.
Yeah, if you put your your left tires on it, it'll actually help the car rotate a little bit on corner entry, especially with that tack. But you want those right side tires up near that tack, and that's what Brandon's doing right now. He's staying just above that slick, keeping his right tire or left tires down in it, and the right tire is out of it, and that's a more ideal line. And this time he goes way up the track.
Yeah, Brandon Proudfoot, definitely one of the more adventurous drivers. He always goes to test out those lines sooner than anyone else, and you see him just go back to the line he was running before with the rights in the tacky stuff and the left sides in the slick. So obviously the top not really working very well in 3 and 4, but I think he's found something in 1 and 2. He has gapped Jason Menda quite substantially.
Yeah, he's using the going all the way up to the top, but what he's doing is he's driving down the hill. He's using the banking to increase his momentum as we get the one to go. But watch him as he gets about mid corner and then just now he gets into the wall. He's not going to be able to turn down like he had been.
Isn't able to get that big a launch, though, but they're going to get the checkered flag this time by Robbie Robinson. Got really close to Jason Menda coming out of turns 1 and 2, but wasn't quite close enough to seal the deal. So Proudfoot Menda going to automatically advance. Robbie Robinson going to sit on pole, most likely, for the C main. You can see the rest of the results on your screen. Robbie Robinson, Butch Baker, John Wilson, Malachi Smith rounds out the 6-car field. We get ready for the third heat of the night, excuse me. Chris Davis lines up on pole. Neville Ulf starts to his outside and rounds out the first row. Bobby Hayes starts third. Hunter Hill's going to start in fourth. Brennan Myers starts fifth. Matt Shanoski rounds out your 6-car field.
Yeah, it's good to see Matt out with us here tonight. Good to see him back on the track. I don't think we've seen him in a couple weeks here, so we'll see what he's got for these guys. And man, third and final heat of the night. Good racing so far.
Yeah, really good stuff so far. The track's really starting to come in to be one of those two-wide tracks where you can have a guy who nails the outside and a guy who nails the inside, and neither one of them is going to get an advantage. Chris Davis still electing to choose the inside line, though Neville all forced to start on the high side. But, John, I don't think Neville's in for, I'm not going to say too much pain. We've really seen the inside line starting to come in.
Yeah, I think that inside line might be just fine here. But, eventually that top is going to move far enough up where that bottom is going to become a little bit quicker because right now it looks like there's a lot of grip down there. So you should be able to get down there, get those cars rotated without really breaking too much momentum.
iRacing pace truck begins to scamper off. The field slowly paces behind it, keeping that caution car pace of about 36, 35 miles an hour. Chris Davis rounds through turns 3 and 4, puts his foot on the loud pedal. Huge start for him. He and Neville Ulf are going to be able to completely clear themselves from the rest of the field. Bobby Hayes now forced to fend off the rest of the pack as you see Hunter Hill pop up to his outside down the backstretch.
Yeah, once again, that bottom line, being able to go down there and grab that tack as you launch is just proving to be the right call so far, all 3 heat races.
Yeah, how about that start from Hunter Hill, though? He had a phenomenal start and then just kind of took advantage of the track position, of course, getting himself on the outside there of Bobby Hayes.
Yep, now he can just get that car going, get all the momentum there, and probably be able to hang on to that position barring any mistakes here.
Yeah, speaking of mistakes, though, Bobby Hayes continues to slip up. Brennan Myers gets really close to his outside, probably out of turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. You see him just kind of stalking him up there. He gets a little bit loose this time by, allows Bobby Hayes to kind of scamper away just slightly. But up front, it's still Chris Davis. He's got a pretty large lead over Neville Ulf, and then Neville Ulf has a pretty decent lead over Hunter Hill.
Yeah, and again, the top 2 are going to transfer right up to the main event here, and everybody else is going to go into the B. But looking at the car count tonight, that's not such a bad thing. They're just going to be able to get extra laps on the track. Everybody looks like they will end up in the main event here tonight.
Yeah, John, we've had 6 cars in each of the first 3 heats tonight. Of course, 6 times 3 is only 18, so thankfully for everyone, everybody makes the field. White flag flies this time by. It's the last lap. Chris Davis still in the lead. He's got about at least a half a second lead there over Neville Ulf. The real battle, though, is for the 3rd position as they head through turns 3 and 4. Bobby Hayes on the inside, Hunter Hill on the outside. Checkered flag, though, goes to Chris Davis. Bobby Hayes takes 3rd. No, excuse me, Hunter Hill takes 3rd. Neville Ulf finishes in 2nd place. Bobby Hayes finishes in 4th. Brennan Myers comes home in 5th. Matt Shanoski rounds out the 6-car field. We get ready now for the C main. You can see those starting grid on your screen. Jeffrey Harden starts on pole. Hunter Hill starts 2nd. Butch Baker starts in 3rd. Joe Segala starts 4th. Brennan Myers, Malachi Smith round out the 6-car field.
This should be challenging for some of the guys that were, let's say, in the first heat race, because if you look at the track, you can see the track. We can see that the track is kind of worn in now a bit, so the track conditions are actually going to change. And you see right there, Jeff Harden's the first guy tonight to take the outside line to take the start. But yeah, the track has changed tremendously since the first heat race.
Well, John, I was just about to ask you, if you're Jeffrey Hart in this position, do you stick on the inside or do you go up and start on the high side? Obviously, you can see it on your screen. You called it then, John. Jeffrey electing to start on the high side. And you touched on a great point there. The track has definitely changed a lot. It used to be all dark up there above what is still the slick, and now it's that light brown tacky stuff, John.
Yeah, and personally, I probably would have stayed on the down low here, but it's gonna be nice to see what kind of start. Now, I can tell you, all the guys back in the pit area are, they're watching this now to see what line fires better if you can actually get a good launch from the top here.
Oh, yeah, they've all got out their notebooks out as Jeffrey Harden gets ready to launch. Hunter Hill to his inside. Mega start there by Jeffrey Harden, but Hunter Hill is able to time it really well. He was, to be honest, ahead of Harden there. I don't know if that might be a penalty on his part, but he's going to take the lead, so a lot of guys on pit road not really going to put that in their notebooks, or maybe just to say, make sure to start on the inside for right now. Jeffrey Harden continues to fight with Hunter Hill. Not much going on there, though.
Yeah, the 36 actually fired before him. He just got down there in that tack and just got a better launch, and yeah, it was able to pull ahead before that start-finish line. But yeah, a lot of guys, like I said, I probably would have stayed on the bottom there, but that's all right. Harden's in second here, and like we said before, everybody's going to make it here. This is just some extra laps. This is a good time to try things like that and see what it does.
Yeah, Harden's still in second, but they're 3 wide for third. Just behind him, you got Segala on the bottom, Myers in the middle. Now, there are going to be 2 rows of 2 wide, as you see Butch Baker in the 97 really throwing some haymakers into the corner. Oh, Brendan Myers getting really sideways, makes a little contact there with Hunter Hill. Joe Segala does a great job to try and stay off the left rear, of that 25 car.
Yeah, these boys are getting a little argy-bargy for just being a consolation race here, but you think it's a main event, but some good, hard racing here.
Certainly, I'd like to see what Brendan Myers can do if he puts together a couple really clean laps. That time through 3 and 4, though, John Hunter Hill got extremely sideways.
Yeah, he did. The track, like I said, the conditions are now getting a little bit more difficult to handle. You can't just run in there and hold your foot down and get around the corner. You're having to really work the throttle now, keep the back end under you. And, the big difference between what some of these guys, were doing in their heat race.
The guy, in my opinion, working the throttle the best at the moment is Brendan Myers. He's been doing a well of a job to not only catch up to Hunter Hill, but, John, it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass.
Absolutely, and if they're both comfortable and want to run that same line, yeah, if you follow someone, you're going to finish behind it, but we only got 1 lap to go here.
Yeah, white flag is out. This will be the last time they go through turns 3 and 4 in the C main. Hunter Hill looks like he'll take the advantage. Brandon Myers is going to try everything he can on the bottom. He's going to take second. Jeffrey Harden takes third. Butch Baker finishes fourth. Joe Segala and I believe Kevin Nunn round out the 6-car field. We'll have those finishing results on your screen. Malachi Smith rounds out the field. That was a pretty good race there, John, for not only the lead, but also all the way down through the field, third place especially. That was quite the hornet's nest.
Yeah, and one of the things when the track starts to get worn in, it kind of equalizes things. Sure, guys that are really good with throttle control are going to have an advantage. Some guys get better when it slicks up. I happen to be one of those guys, but the speed, overall pace slows down. So it can bring the field closer together, and I think that's what we just saw right there.
The B main grid is composed of Robbie Robinson, who starts on pole. Steven Spees starts in second. Bobby Hayes lines up in third. John Wilson starts fourth. Kevin Nunn, Matt Shanoski round out the 6-car field. John, it looks like Robbie saw whatever we saw up in the booth, and he's elected to start on the bottom this time around as well.
Yeah, and I still think that's the right call, because as you come around here, and if he would just turn down, because you can see how that if he would just turn down about right there, he'll get a great launch almost every time. While Steven's right in a line there that's not going to give him much traction, almost all halfway down the straightaway anyway.
Well, John, too, it's so hard to describe what we're seeing on track, especially you as a seasoned dirt racing veteran, where the slick is, where it's tacky. John is talking about, right, that very light brown stuff on the extreme bottom of the track. That's all tack right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can get a whole lot more aggressive with the throttle as they come around to get the green.
Robbie Robinson doesn't elect to go all the way down to the bottom. He spins his tires there in the slick, allows Steven Spies to get a huge lunch there on the outside. Steven Spies going to have the momentum on the high side. They're almost going to door bank down the backstretch.
Yeah, and Steven's one of those guys got a lot of laps on dirt, and I think he just put some of that experience to use there. And I did talk to Steven a little earlier today, and I'm not saying he is, but I think that car right now is being powered by some bourbon and some ibuprofen.
You'll love to see it. Steven goes, though, a little bit high there in turns 3 and 4. Looks like Robbie Robinson is going to clear him down the front stretch, so not all lost for the driver of the 56 car there. The driver of the 55 trying to chase him down. So you can see they're still too wide behind both of those guys. It's John Wilson up top, Bobby Hayes on the bottom in that number 13 fistful of water machine.
Yeah, I think right now the line up top has moved far enough up, and there's enough tack on the bottom. That bottom is right where you need to be right now.
Robbie Robinson really showcasing that at the moment. You can see Steven Spies about to be freight trained here by the 13 of Bobby Hayes, and then by the driver of the 75, John Wilson. And John, being in Steven's position right here is one of the worst feelings in the world, because you can't get down fast enough. You're kind of just forced to fend these guys off the best that you can through the 8 laps of the B main here.
Yeah, and Steven's just forced to take the position. He's got to make his bet. He's made his bet up there. Now he's got to line it. So he's got to figure out a way to minimize the damage running up there. But now he's kind of to the bottom, kind of bump drafting through the corner here a little bit. And we'll see if he can make a move here with just a couple laps to go.
Well, that did work out for him really well, because now he has for sure put a gap between he and John Wilson. So now John is going to have to run a line different than what he was used to running if he wants to pass Steven. You saw Steven looking there, the inside of Bobby Hayes, but boy, Bobby's taking him right down there to those tractor tires on the inside.
Yeah, and looks like it's just really tough to pass right here, because if someone's got the preferred line, which right now I would say Hayes has got. It doesn't look like there's another line out there that's as strong as that.
Robbie Robinson crosses the start-finish line to start lap number 9. Of course, that finishes the race, so he wins the B main. Bobby Hayes finishes in second. Steven Spies rounds out the podium for this event. Finishing in fourth is John Wilson. Then Matt Shanoski, Kevin Nunn rounds out the 6-car field. And now, John, we go to a 5-minute warm-up.
Yeah, if you want, why don't we go grab my compadre there, Steven, and bring him on up here and do a little in-race chat and see what his take is on what the track's doing.
We'll do just that, John. We pulled Steven Spies in here. Steven, you got a copy?
I do, Austin.
Take it away, John. I know you're itching to ask him some questions.
Has the ibuprofen kicked in yet?
It's starting to. So I will. It's not a paid sponsor, but I will sing the praises of lidocaine patches right now.
Oh, those are. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. Us old guys got to stick together. Well, you had a bit of a go at it there in that last chance race here, and it looked like the bottom was a little more dominant. What do you expect here for the future? What do you expect the track to do?
I really don't know at this point. I've kind of been guessing wrong every race, so I'll be starting on the outside, so we'll put it up there and just kind of stay in line, and if it develops down low, that's where we'll go. If it gets really slick, maybe I can get the middle to work. I know the last 2 or 3 races that I've been able to join, it seems like that slick through the middle works, so we'll see what happens.
Well, as the race goes on here, if you see the guys through there and you go for that, everybody going on the same line, you're going to have to find a way to get around them, not in that line there. So do you think that top or that bottom is going to be more beneficial to maybe combat if that middle line, because this track is notorious for that middle line working?
Yeah, it seems like lately in the street stocks, the bottom's been there, so that may be the way to go. But, if nothing else, you can maybe get a nose down under coming off and kind of steal the line from somebody. Don't necessarily move them, but just kind of put the pressure there and see if you can get your preferred line back and make some passes. But it's going to be tough.
So I hope you can overlook the fact I didn't ask you if you wanted to be in Race Reporter. We just grabbed you. But Austin, you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, Steve and I went out on track earlier in probably roughly the same track state just to practice. But, you know, how does the car feel as you enter the corner and then come back off? I felt like it was kind of tight and then got loose and then tight again.
Yeah, most of these iRacing setups are a bit tight. You know, it's getting slick enough now that you've got to watch that throttle control coming off the corners, or you're going to get that back end out of whack and it's going to come around a bit on you and you're going to lose some speed. So I think, you know, it's just keeping the car straight, kind of, you got to turn it enough that you get past the tight setup, but, you know, it's just a delicate balance.
Stephen, if we had to choose Conan iRacing, especially on dirt, if you're coming off of one of these cautions and you don't gain any track position choosing one lane or the other, it's all just up to comfort. Do you want to be on the inside or the outside on a restart?
It'll depend on what lane's dominant, but if nothing's dominant, I would prefer the inside myself. I just, you know, I've said it before, and I just don't feel consistent enough up by the wall, especially here at Cedar Lake for some reason. this is not my best track, but we're going to see what we got.
Well, John can tell you in practice, I definitely hit the wall out. He was coaching me, and he said, well, first thing I'll tell you, stop hitting the wall, dummy.
I don't know. I think you can get a bit of a boost doing that. You just got to make sure the officials are looking the other way.
Yeah, that this isn't quite like a Port Royal where yeah, it's almost impossible for that not to happen. But let me ask you one last question here real quick while we have you. You're starting P12. That means you're on the outside. Outside of, you know, okay, I've got to start out front. What is your plan here to try to get to the front?
I think all I'm going to be trying to do is keep up with the pack tonight. So, you know, it's amazing that how like a week and a half iRacing break can really put some rust on you, and combine that with a track I just generally am not super fast at, and we'll just try to keep up. That's my only goal tonight.
All right, well, a little bit later, the USAC, BRL USAC race is going to be. Anything you can glean from here that you can take over to that race?
You know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to say absolutely zero, because those
I already knew the answer to that.
Different beast, and that's going to be a big old track we're on. So it's going to forget everything that we're doing here and go get in that sprint car and have fun.
I was just curious to see if you said, "Oh yeah, I can learn this and that." I was going to call you out, but hey, good luck in the race here tonight. Fun talking with you, and we'll definitely chat a little later.
Sounds good.
That's Steven Speeds, the number 55, going to be starting P12 tonight, Austin.
That was a really nice interview there, John. Thank you so much for doing that. We'd also like to thank Stephen, especially for his time.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'll get a text or whatever. You didn't even ask, but it's better to ask. I've been married for a long time, so I'm going to just use that experience. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission.
My dad said the same thing about his work just the other day. Regardless, though, Billy Northcutt starts on pole for tonight's event. Brandon Proudfoot starts to his outside. Chris Davis starts in third. William Hargraves rounds out the second row. Jason Menda in the 45 starts in fifth, followed by Neville Ulf, who starts in sixth. Hunter Hill starts in seventh, followed by Robbie Robinson, who starts eighth. Brendan Myers starts in ninth, and Bobby Hayes rounds out your top 10, John.
Yep, starting 11th is going to be the number 36. That's going to be Jeff Harden. And as outside is going to be who we just heard from, the in-race reporter. The double nickel there, the 55, that's Mr. Steven Spees. Next row behind these guys is going to be starting 13th is going to be the number 97 of Butch Baker. And his outside will be the 75 of John Wilson. The 81 of Joe Segala is next. And next to him will be Matt Shanowski, Malachi Smith, and Kevin Nunn, I do believe, will round out your field.
Thank you so much. Great job there, John. John, it looks like Billy Northcutt has elected to start on the high side, so I feel like he's gone out on the track. He's seen what's there, and it does look like there's some of that tacky light brown stuff on the top.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. You know, he's got to pull Brandon up high enough, so he's going to have to stay really up high against the wall over here in 3 and 4 to probably get that launch. And, yep, that light looks like exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he's taking it all the way up there to the wall. The iRacing pace truck, you can see, scampers off down the front stretch. Billy Northcutt puts his foot on the loud pedal. He's completely clear. Brandon Proudfoot as they enter the first corner. Look at Chris Davis absolutely all over the inside of Brandon Proudfoot. They're going to be too wide as they come off at turn 2. William Hargraves looking to go anywhere. They're not in front of him. You see Billy Northcutt now cutting down to about the middle of the track, John.
Yeah, interesting to see here. You know, what line kind of is dominant here, and it looks like at least down on 1 and 2, it's going to be up top is going to be the quick line, but down here in 3 and 4, as you see right there, I was about to say, this slider line, and this almost works for every vehicle at this track, whether you're running a sprint car, late model, UMP, down in 3 and 4 to kind of enter kind of a little bit low and slide that car up a little bit seems to work really well here.
There was contact there for the third position between Hargraves and Davis. Those two are getting their elbows out. Argy Bargy, Jason Mend on the inside looking to take advantage. Gets a little loose mid-corner as we're under our first caution.
Yeah, a little bit of a stack up there, and a couple guys went around, it looks like. So that tough break for them. Man, I tell you, exciting first couple laps here. Those guys were not giving each other any quarter. It looks like it's our in-race reporter that went around.
Oh, yeah, they just get turned around in front of him, and unfortunately for Steven, he hits him with all the weight of the car first, and there's not a whole lot of grip when the car gets so light on the rear end, and that's going to send Steven around. So no fault of his own there. You just can't really afford to turn the car on a dime and avoid any of those situations. So you're going to ride along with Steven right here. You can see just going through the corner like normal, collision in front of him, and he goes around.
Yeah, you know, the first few laps of any race, of any discipline, actually, are always pretty sketchy because, you know, you've got cars all around you. One guy does something, you know, has an issue of some kind, it can stack everybody up. And that doesn't matter if that's an Indy car, dirt street stocks, Formula One. If they're racing, those first couple laps, always tough on the driver.
Just out of curiosity, the director tonight, Ryan Seneca, this is his very first time in, we'll call it the big leagues here on the Virtual Grip Network, and hopefully at some point we can go over the points if we have those. I'm not sure. Do we have those, Ryan? Okay, that's fine. Won't be able to go through the points of the graphic on your screen, but a huge thank you to Ryan for pulling in here last second. We had some director problems and pulled Ryan in here. He wasn't even going to do the race, so huge thank you to him for even coming. Restart, though. Billy Northcutt puts his foot on the loud pedal. Once again, clears himself. William Hargraves gets a phenomenal start on the high side. We'll see what he can do on the outside to see if he can get up to Brandon Proudfoot. He does indeed. He's up there alongside him. Really going to take the fight to the front row here.
Yeah, that top side over in 1 and 2, if you're not up there, you're going to lose spots. It looked like Hargraves was just shot out of a cannon last time he came out of that corner.
I was surprised. You can see the detriment that it did to Chris Davis by having to be down on the bottom there in turns 1 and 2 when William Hargraves went up there. Chris Davis is now about 2 car lengths behind William Hargraves, as now you see Jason Mendick goes on the outside of Neville off through turns 1 and 2. We'll see what Jason can do down the backstretch of the number 30 car.
Yeah, and I cannot believe there wasn't a caution. John Wilson was sitting backwards on the front straightaway. He's going now, but wow. Flagman, right below the flagman, if he's got that kind of vision here, it kind of make me a little nervous if I was one of these other guys.
Well, I'll tell you who's making me nervous right now. It's Jason Mende. He goes into turns 1 and 2. He was right up there around that wall. And, John, it's very inviting to go up there because you get faster and faster. But, boy, as these cars build up that cushion, it's very easy to send the right rear over that wall completely. And, of course, that just ruins your day.
Yeah, no, we got a big stack up over in turn 1. Oh, these guys better get woed up. I was about to say, we're about to have a big traffic jam down there.
This is a replay here on your screen. We're looking at Segala there, and I believe John Wilson.
Yeah, it looks like Segala got into Malachi's rear quarter there and got around. The other guys just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, look at Matt Shanoski. You can tell Matt was on the brakes hard, but there's just nothing you can do to kind of divert the course of your race car there and avoid that wreck. So obviously Matt Shanoski doing everything he can, but all for naught there on dirt, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not like asphalt where the tires have something to grab a hold of to slow the car down. You just slide here on dirt. But You were touching on it, turn one there about that cushion going further up there. Yeah, it does become a little bit more of a chore, especially in these cars because these cars are pretty heavy and want to move around more. I've raced here primarily in a late model or a wing sprint car, and I actually find it a little bit harder to keep these cars off the wall than one of those things.
John, we mentioned the point standings. Brandon Proudfoot currently in the lead with 288 points over J.R. Shepard in second, who has 272. Billy Northcutt an additional 10 points behind J.R. Shepard. Unfortunately for J.R., he's not here tonight. It has to do with some family matters. Being a family man, of course, comes with that. Unfortunately, there are no drop weeks, so it might very well take JR out of contention. So Billy Northcutt looking to take over P2 in the championship standings. William Hargraves has 244 points. So a big night tonight for all these guys if they can finish the race well.
Yeah, and as we get the one to go here now, the last time we had a caution, the guy that got burned by it was Kevin Davis.
Chris Davis,
Chris Davis. Sorry, Chris Davis got burned by it. He was on the bottom. Now he's on the outside on that outside. So let's see if he can get his spot back right here.
Yeah, John, you could really tell Chris was trying to do everything he could to make sure he was on the absolute tail end there of Billy Northcutt as they went through turns 3 and 4. This time by, it looks like Davis is going to be able to slot himself. No, he won't. He got a pretty poor run there through turns 1 and 2. William Hargraves able to hold on to that third position.
It looked like he tried to guess the start and guessed wrong and got on the gas and then had to get off. And when he got off the gas, those guys took off and left him.
Boy, Jason Menda continues to impress here tonight. If he holds this position, we get a caution. He could very well take over a podium position. As you see Neville Ulf and Chris Davis door banging each other in turns 3 and 4. That's for the 5th position.
Yeah, and Davis has just got to regroup here. I'm sure that he's, on edge after that start. I would be too. And he's just got to pull it together here and focus and try to move back forward.
Well, especially because when Jason Menda went to come up the track, he was clear to go up. But Chris Davis, boy, did he have a whole head of steam. He got in the rear end of Jason Menda. Fortunately for Jason, Mr. Aggressive chose to check up, gave Jason that spot. But boy, John, I'm sure you're right. Chris Davis has got to be seeing some red right now.
Yeah, and and not that he's mad at anybody on the track. I've been in that position too, and messed up a start, and you can get mad at yourself, and actually a lot of times that's more distracting than when you're ticked off. But when you get ticked off at yourself, you kind of focus inward, and that makes it a little more difficult.
The top 3 drivers are about evenly spaced here. You got Billy Northcutt currently on point. Brandon Proudfoot continues to remain in that 2nd position. William Hargraves currently rides around in the 3rd position. There was a short bit there where Hargraves got to the inside of Proudfoot, but unfortunately for him, Proudfoot has pulled away and continues to inch closer and closer to Billy Northcutt for the lead.
Yeah, we've seen this the last couple of weeks between these two teammates here, and we got another caution on the track, and I'm looking around. I don't know what it was for. Oh, maybe Butch Baker out on the backstretch.
This is a replay. John, walk me through what happens here.
I think he just got loose coming off the corner there, and Sagala didn't, and that gap just closed quicker than what Joe could react to, and tapped him, and around he went.
I mean, visibility is pretty limited in these cars too, John. Those giant air cleaners going through the hood certainly makes it so you can't really see very well out the whole right side of your car.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it a little bit earlier about stopping on dirt. It doesn't happen as quick as what it would in other forms. So
you just don't. That's an easy answer.
Yeah, you don't. You've got to let off the gas, but you've also got to take evasive maneuvers. And I don't think there was enough time there for Joe, like I said, to do much of anything. Other than that's one of those where I say Joe did what he was supposed to do. He hit him.
Not much you can do.
Yep, not a whole lot you can do there. So I'm sure Baker will, I run with him in other leagues and whatnot. He's been around the block a time or two. He knows the score, so I'm sure he'll be able to shake it off and come back and see if he can make up some of these spots.
Yeah, I think even if Segala wasn't there, Butcher's going around, maybe not as much as he
Yeah.
did. But green flag flies. Look at William Hargraves really trying to get everything he can there on the inside of Brandon Proudfoot. He knows being on the inside in 1 and 2 is a pretty large detriment. You look for, oh, he almost slid up there in front of Brandon Proudfoot. Now Jason Menda looks to continue to freight train the driver of the 71 here. That's Menda in that black car. Chris Davis comes up the track to try and see what he can do. William Hargraves, boy, he's going to have to make sure he gets up to the wall there as fast as possible.
He's got a window right there, so he should be able to probably be able to get up there right here at this point.
Now the battle is on for the 4th position. That's Chris Davis on the inside, Mr. Aggressive, we like to call him, and Jason Menda on the outside in the 45 car. They're 3 wide for a brief moment there. Brendan Myers looking to make it 3 wide as he goes up the middle of the 25 machine. Whoa, contact! Menda gets into Davis. Brendan Myers saves Chris Davis, but they're still wrecking. Boy, there's a big pile up.
Yeah,
and John, I think we missed a change for the lead during all that calamity.
Yeah, but that might all be for naught. I think if we go back to the previous lap, I'm going to bet that they're going to give Northcutt that lead back. But tough break for Chris Davis, running solidly there, and it looked like Menda may have misjudged his corner entry a little bit and just barely tapped him. And when you get tapped and your wheel is turned to turn into the corner or even to catch the slide, that's becomes real tough to recover from that. That doesn't take a lot to send you around.
Yeah, and just I know you folks at home are wondering how in the world we had a change for the lead. Right now it looks like it won't stand, but Brandon Proudfoot threw an absolute haymaker of a slide job, came up the track just perfectly there in front of Billy Northcutt. It looks like iRacing at Timing and Scoring is going to wave Northcutt around.
Yep.
So he continues to lead the race, but boy, if you're Brandon, that caution could not have come out at a worse time.
No, it can't. And then explain to everybody that's watching here, the caution flags here do not count. So what iRacing does, and what most normal local tracks will do, is they will revert to the previous lap completed, and that's what we did here. Previous lap,
or the previous timing and scoring loop. At some
but not on
track,
dirt.
you don't know where they are.
On dirt, it's the lap. But
Okay.
NASCAR and the asphalt, you've got scoring loops. Not here on dirt. It's the previous lap.
Oh, that's my mistake. Thank you for the correction, John. So, yeah, it goes back to the previously completed green flag lap, and luckily for Billy Northcutt, that was when they went by the start-finish line, so he got to remain in control of the lead.
And
green
they're
flag
off.
Flies once again. Go ahead, John.
I was saying they're off. I didn't mean to crack my mic. I was talking to myself.
Hey, no worries at all. William Hargraves continues to get everything he can down there on the bottom. The inside continues to be a detriment. So far, the fastest line seems to be up high in turns 1 and 2 and kind of just in the middle of the track in turns 3 and 4. Now Brendan Myers moves up to that 4th spot. You see Jason Menda on the outside, Neville off on the inside, Hunter Hill there on the very inside.
Yeah, nice 3-car battle shaping up here for the win. And I'll tell you, Proudfoot, who threw that haymaker, made it stick. Did he show his cards? Now is Northcutt going to be ready for it and be watching for it? And will he be able to defend if Proudfoot does it again?
Boy, that time out of turns 1 and 2, Jen, Proudfoot got to the absolute back bumper of Billy Northcutt. He pushed him coming out of the corner.
And there he goes.
The slide job. Watch for Northcutt to pull the crossover. Contact is made. Northcutt continues to go for a slide. He's going to have to correct that car before Brandon Myers gets up to him. Now he's side by side with Myers, and wow, for Brandon Proudfoot, I don't know if that was just lucky blocking the lane there from Northcutt pulling the crossover, but boy, Northcutt's got to be mad.
Yeah, when you throw slide jobs, generally speaking, you're coming across the slick. You're scrubbing a ton of. Oh, we got a contact down the back stretch there. Oh, hard hit for Jason Menda. A couple of really hard hits.
Yeah, the caution continues to not fly for the moment. I don't know what Barney the Flagman is doing. Maybe he's just got a little bit of that, Stevie Wonder going on. He finally opens his eyes and sees what's happening. We're going to take a quick look back at that. But, yeah, John Wilson smoking on the inside of the track.
Yeah, he took a really, really hard hit there. Hope he had his hands off the wheel kind of deal there. That was quite a shot.
Yeah, so this is going down the backstretch. You see Jason Menda get pretty high there, make contact with Neville off. It's impossible for those two cars to get off of each other. And then, of course, John Wilson doesn't see that wreck happening because everyone else in front of him dodges it. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't, has a head-on collision here. Riding on board with the driver of the 75, John Wilson here.
Yeah, the 13 piled into to hit Wilson really, really hard. He got 2 shots, one the initial hit, then a secondary hit there, and man, that's a tough break for Jason Menda. He was having such a good run going, and just close quarters racing there. He kind of tapped the wall and it threw him out. He didn't have a whole lot of room there. He's kind of being held up against the wall there, but like I said, tough break for Menda here.
Yeah, Jason was having such a great run there. Steven Spies, though, continues to ascend through the field. He was one of the drivers, I believe the driver that brought out the very first caution. He's going to line up in, I believe, the 4th position. No, 5th, maybe, or 6th. It's really hard to tell the way they're lining up.
Yeah, no, he's going to start 6th, and I guess that light-up cane patch is working for him.
Green flag flies once again. That's Brandon Proudfoot, who fires off really well from the rest of the field. William Hargraves, though, has been the one driver able to be very competitive on the inside. He's going to stay even with Proudfoot as they come off the corner. Of course, momentum shifts to Proudfoot, but we'll see what Hargraves can do in 3 and 4. He has the option to go into the outside here. It's going to open up so he can take that line if he'd like to. And now you got Billy Northcutt, our pole sitter, fighting to the inside here.
Yeah, now the 71 moves into 2nd here. Let's see if he's got anything for Proudfoot. Maybe he learned something watching Proudfoot throw that slider a couple laps ago on his teammate.
Still Proudfoot ahead of Hargraves. Those two making pretty slight contact there with the outside wall. And boy, it's really easy to put the right side over the wall as we have another caution on the Speedway.
Yeah, that same trouble spot coming out of turn 2. We've seen quite a few incidences over there, and looks like it was an issue of Segala getting just a little bit loose. Robbie Robinson had nowhere to go, and a little bit of an accordion effect there, and around went the 56 machine.
Yeah, boy, that was pretty vicious. Didn't really see that coming, especially the last part of that contact. Goes in, checks up, and then, of course, nowhere for Neville Alf to go. He's just kind of riding around. He doesn't see that those two are going to make contact.
Yeah, it's really tough if you're right up behind somebody in these cars to see all the way through them and whatnot. So when trouble happens, the C's might part in front of you, but the problem with that part, there could be a car in the middle of that, and you just T-bone them.
Certainly, we mentioned it just a second ago, but Steven Spies on that ascent through the field. Currently, he is being scored in the 5th position, so he's gotten around Jeffrey Harden there. We'll have to see what Steven can do on the inside. Not the preferred line for going off the restart in turns 1 and 2, but maybe he can take a page from William Hargraves' book and make that competitive.
Yeah, and Steven is really good on the bottom. So if there's anybody that can kind of get that to work, he's the guy that can, one of the guys that can do it.
Yeah, he mentioned it a lot. Steven is very much a bottom feeder on the dirt side as well. Green flag flies once again. Brandon Proudfoot gets a huge start, able to clear himself completely. Of course, no one's happier about that than William Hargraves as he gets to slide up there to the outside. Now it's a battle between Brendan Myers and Steven Spies for the 4th position. Steven there on the inside, Brandon on the outside. Brandon gets extremely loose, taps the rear end of Steven. Fortunately for those two drivers, they don't make huge contact and spin each other out, but boy, Brendan Myers got all sorts out of shape.
I'm starting to think Steven's going to... Oh, yeah, I see that going into 3.
Probably reckon.
Butch Baker goes around there on the outside, but I think they did good to get that far without wrecking.
Yeah, that was a great job. They were 4 wide coming off of turn 2. They lasted a lot longer than I thought they would have. This is a replay here. You're looking at the card 97, that white with a blue and black stripe down the middle. That's the 97 of Butch Baker. He goes into the corner. He was doing fine until he made contact with Joe Segala midway through the corner. Doesn't, of course, want to spin out Joe, so is forced to get on the brakes. The car over-rotates on him.
A lot of action here tonight, and I tell you, we still got just about 10 laps to go here, but I'm starting to think Mr. Steven Spies is going to be wearing a lidocaine patch every Friday night from here on in.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. He's been doing a phenomenal job of getting up through the field. And you might say, oh, that's pretty good. He started in 12th, but he started in 12th, then went to the back of the field, and then has climbed all the way up back through to riding in the 4th position. And he's got to be happy about that because we've talked about it all night during the broadcast, John. The high line in 1 and 2 is where you want to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a word with him and make sure he removes that before we do the BRL USAC Sprint Series a little bit later on tonight. I don't want him wearing that when we're at the Bristol with the non-wing 360s
Afraid of a
under it.
little competition there, John?
A little bit.
Green flag flies once again. They're single file this time, so it doesn't matter what lane you start in. Brandon Proudfoot gets a huge start over William Hargraves. Hargraves in the wall pretty hard, able to keep all quarter panels on the car and both axles intact. Little bit of contact there from Billy Northcutt in the 0 car to the rear end to Hargraves in that 71 car.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Spees isn't the fastest car or one of the fastest cars on the track. It looks like Northcutt's kind of holding them up a little.
It certainly does. Brandon Proudfoot's absolutely pulling away from the rest of the field. Hargraves throws a huge slide job into the corner. Not a slide job, maybe more of just a slider line, entering hot, scrubbing off a lot of speed as he gets sideways.
Yeah, and then the 22 there was able to kind of step back out once it got out of the corner here, but still a really nice 4-car battle here up front.
Yeah, boy, Steven's doing a really good job of rolling the bottom, especially in turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he can draw side by side with Billy Northcutt again, but the gap between the 71 of Hargraves and the 22 of Proudfoot, practically nothing. They're side by side, barely even as they head into turns 3 and 4. Hargraves is going to lose it up top as Proudfoot is able to clear himself completely.
Here goes your slide job.
Yeah, slide job happening. Proudfoot sees it coming, chooses to do the crossover, and that's going to allow Billy Northcutt to get to the inside of William Hargraves.
Yeah, and that's good news for Brandon Proudfoot for those two guys to battle behind him now after that slide job.
Although that good news might turn into some bad news now that Billy Northcutt is behind him. Billy might throw a haymaker of a slide job and just barely check up Brandon on corner exit and pull that Uno reverse card on him.
Absolutely. You race guys the way they race you. And then Brandon didn't do anything wrong with this slide job, but he didn't. He cut it close. So you know what? You can not feel bad if you're pulling up in front of somebody here now.
Yeah, Billy Northcutt goes for it. Isn't quite able to clear Brandon Proudfoot. You see Steven Spees now on the inside of William Hargraves. They're 2x2 for the first 4 positions. Jeffrey Harden trying to get as close to possible to these guys. Isn't quite able to do it. Billy Northcutt, I don't think he's throwing the slide job line, John. I think he's just kind of rolling the bottom in 1 and 2.
Yeah, very much looks like that. That's a good call there. They're almost driving the cars like they're on asphalt at this point.
Yeah, white flag out.
Trying to keep them as straight as they can there when they're on the bottom. One to go.
This is where we might see a slide job. You see Hargraves now on the outside of Northcutt. They make a little bit of contact off 2. Northcutt throws it into turns 3 and 4. Hargraves goes to do the crossover move. It's going to be a drag race to the line for second. It's going to go the way of Billy Northcutt.
Good battle there for second.
Yeah, phenomenal job by those drivers. You can see the finishing order on your screen. Brandon Proudfoot, of course, comes home in the first position. In a drag race to the finish between Billy Northcutt and Hargraves, it's Northcutt who takes the second spot. Hargraves rounds out your podium. Steven Spees climbs from the tail end of the field to finish in 4th position. Jeffrey Harden comes home with a solid top 5 for him. He continues to impress this season. Brennan Myers in the 25 car finishes in 6th. Hunter Hill comes away with a 7th place finish. Joe Segala gets a solid top 10 in 8th. Chris Davis finishes in 9th. Neville Ulf finishes in 10th. Robbie Robinson comes home in 11th position, followed by John Wilson in 12th. Jason Menda finishes in 13th. Butch Baker in 14th. Matt Shanoski comes home in 15th. A lot of cars here didn't finish the race, John. You got Bobby Hayes, Kevin Nunn, Malachi Smith in that order. That's going to be your 18-car field.
Yeah, I'm over here reading everything's going wrong tonight. Forgot to hit the button to talk. But yeah, good finish here all the way through, and tough break though. We got to give a shout out to Jason Menda. Had a really good run there, and just some bad luck there at the end really cost him a really good finish tonight.
Certainly did. We're now standing by with the big winner here tonight, Brandon Proudfoot. Brandon, you didn't start on pole. We kind of figured the man who started on pole would win and lead every single lap this week like they did last week. But, boy, you certainly proved us wrong. You threw a couple really well-timed slide jobs, and, boy, I'm sure that caution in the middle really hurt you.
Did a little bit. I don't think I had the best of pass on Billy, in my opinion. He got into the back of me and almost like kind of like a tail. The very caution before that, we did that when the caution came out for a different incident. So I feel like I could have got by him a little cleaner, but the track definitely played a little bit different tonight than it did in past seasons for sure.
Brandon, all night long, you guys were kind of playing with disaster, flirting with it. I'll say with the high line in turns 1 and 2, it's so easy to kind of pop your right sides over that and go for a not the best ride and kind of junk your car. Was it as treacherous tonight as it's always been?
Um, it still has that fear factor. That wall that jolts out right there at the front side of turn one. That will still catch your quarter panel if you go a little bit too far. But with the changes that we got to the slick, it almost seemed a lot more forgiving tonight. And I mentioned it in the race under caution with a few other drivers. They did some sort of net code change, and usually to where you'd see guys. I don't know if you guys seen it on the broadcast at all, but usually how you'd see drivers kind of almost jumping on that wall. It didn't seem like it was doing that tonight, so it made it to where, at least for me, I was a lot more comfortable being behind Billy, knowing whether or not if he actually hit the wall or not, or if it was the net code. So for me, I didn't have that tonight, so not having that symptom, I just overall was more comfortable, and I believe a lot of other drivers would say that as well.
Brendan, we had a quick chat about the points John and I did. Your closest competitor going into this race, J.R. Shepard, forced to miss this due to some family affairs. What does that do for your confidence in the overall championship coming out of this race?
I've said it once and I'll say it again. I'm not really here for the championship. I'm here for the community. To be honest with you, I didn't even know I was in the points lead. Um, Fortunate that JR had to miss tonight, especially considering this track was pretty fun, and he's been doing really good since the tire update. He's one that's really good driving in the slick, and I feel like he would have been right there with Billy, William, and I uh, running through the middle and bottom and even top here at Cedar Lake. Track I think would have progressed really his way, so unfortunate he did have to miss it, but just another week, and next week I believe we go to Port Royal, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a learning experience for all of us. Fastest track I believe we have on the service, and it technically is one of my local ones, but by no means that make it mean it's going to be easy.
Brandon, before we let you go, who do you got to thank for the win tonight?
Fistful of bourbon, winners get whiskey, baby. General Tire, Vision Wheel, Next Level Racing, Bridge Industries, Law and all the guys host the league, you guys here at Virtual Grip Network for doing the broadcast, fiance, family, friends, and anybody on the socials that roots me on. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for your time. Once again, congratulations, Brandon. That was Brandon Proudfoot, the big winner. John, I believe you caught up with our second place driver.
I can't drag him down.
Okay,
There we
I'll
go.
get Billy Northgate down here in the booth
There's
for you.
Billy. Hey, Billy, this is John. You got a copy?
Yeah, sure do. How's it going?
Not too bad, man. I tell you, I don't know which battle was more intense, the one with you and Proudfoot or the one with you and your teammate. Sure looked like fun, both of them anyway. Tell me about your night.
Oh yeah, man. I was having a ball out there. This was a good night. For whatever reason, just different things. I hadn't even had a podium yet this season. I don't think I wrecked Davis while he was leading. I think that's the first time I've ever done that on iRacing in 3 years, and I apologized to him about a million times. I almost drove all the way states over to give him some flowers or something because I felt so bad about that. But I mean, I think you guys could tell too. You're like, oh, that's weird. But after all of that and just not really doing as good this year, it was nice to get out here and qualify first and lead a bunch of laps. Brandon, it seemed like was faster than me pretty much the whole time there, and when I was trying to run that top, and I just kind of over guessed on his slider, and he actually racing clean. He backed out of the slider, and I just like couldn't respond in time. It was just like one of those hiccups. So I hit him in the rear and fell back to third or whatever there. But that made it even all that more fun. That was a really great race with him and William. And I was just saying in the Discord after, like that was one of them races that had the perfect amount of lines being used and the perfect amount of bumper being used. It wasn't just single file, ride around, be careful. Everybody was really sending it and having some fun there.
Well, we've had some updates with iRacing a little bit about how the tires are reacting with the dirt and whatnot. Just real quick, could you feel any difference over these last couple weeks with these cars, and how different have they felt to you?
I mean, honestly, for me, it was night and day, and I love it. Last season at Cedar Lake, I qualified first and led every lap, just running right at the wall and bouncing off of it every once in a while. And getting second tonight was about 10 times more fun than winning that race. And I was running pretty much anywhere I would run, I would just come out of the turn still in the same exact spot I was. Like if Brandon was running the wall and Will was throwing a slider, if I just went right through the middle, I mean that would have never happened before the update. I would have fell back like 4 car lengths from Brandon if I ran the middle while he was running that top in 1 and 2. So I mean I think that race was really awesome, and I think that's what we're going to see moving forward. I hope they leave it alone now.
Well, awesome. Well, who would you like to give a shout out to for a solid runner up tonight?
I gotta give a shout out to all my Dirt Panda teammates. We've been having a lot of fun lately. We got a partnership with KC Speedworks, and we're starting to run some open setup stuff again, and that's been kind of energizing the team. So big thanks to them for hopping on board. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting. I always, when I'm out there racing, I know that my mother-in-law and dad and uncle and family are all watching and stuff, so that kind of motivates me to put on a good show, and that maybe it wouldn't be quite as much if they weren't broadcasted by you guys. If we were just racing, we'd still be having a great time, but there's that little extra edge that really makes it what it is. So you guys pretty much make the entire league to me, and Lowell for putting it on, and just everybody for racing clean in here makes it really fun. And congrats to Brandon on that win. That was a hard fought win.
Well, hey, that was a hard fought second place. Once again, though, congratulations. That is Billy Northcutt, our second place finisher tonight.
William Hargraves comes home to round out the podium. William, you had a pretty up and down race. We saw you throwing some pretty good slide jobs there. Unfortunately, you had to restart on the bottom a couple times. That lost you a few positions, but boy, by the end, did you have that bottom line figured out in turns 1 and 2?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for sure. Like you said there, trying that bottom. I couldn't quite get enough dig off the bottom there with them guys running the middle like they were to barely do anything off of four with them. I could get through 1 and 2 really good. I felt like and pretty much at least hang with them, but 3 and 4 was just hurting me too much.
Yeah, the track definitely changed a lot throughout that run. But as we look on, J.R. Shepard didn't run this race, so obviously you're probably going to gain a position in the points. But this track overall, it seemed to not really suit your driving style. Does that kind of affect the pep in your step as you take into next week, knowing that it's a fresh week? Maybe the track might develop differently, but certainly doing a little bit better in the points.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if it wasn't really not necessarily not my driving style. It was a lot of it was if you're going to try to make a pass, the only way they were going to do it, they weren't going to give you the outside. They let you have the inside. But I don't know. We'll move on to next week at Port Royal. It's real fast track. It should be a lot of fun. Like I said, with the way this new update works, it's all kind of a learning experience for all of us. Just changing, and I think next week will be a lot of fun. Really.
Well, William, before we let you go here, who do you got to thank for your third place run tonight?
I'd like to thank Luell for putting this league on for us. I got to thank you guys at Virtual Grip Network for doing the broadcast every week. I got to thank everybody that watches week in and week out and supports you guys. I want to give thanks to Viv's Liquor. I got to thank Malum. electricmotorsales.com. I got to thank Wild Bill's Race Designs. Billy touched on earlier our partnership with KC Speedworks. That's new and adding a lot of pep to us for sure. Got to thank Carl at KC and just all my Dirt Panda Racing teammates.
Well, thank you for your time tonight, William. Once again, congratulations on your podium run. Hopefully we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
That was William Hargraves. That will complete our interviews for tonight's affair. John, it was a pretty up and down race for a lot of drivers. Certainly some accidents on track. The race plagued by some cautions there in the middle.
Yeah, it was, and they were pretty simple. I think we had one big wreck, and the rest were just just product of track conditions. You heard all three of these guys talk about how the track has changed with the last couple of updates that have come out. So they're all learning and stuff like that. So it's those incidents, and most of those incidences that we saw tonight, I think were a result of maybe guys trying to do something that they could do 2 weeks ago that they can't do now. So the rest of the season is going to be fun. I can't wait to see these guys continue to evolve and figure this kind of racing out.
Certainly, the next BRL Dirt Street Stock broadcast is next Friday, July 29th. We'll be live at Port Royal Speedway at 7:10 p.m. Eastern. And the next Virtual Grip Network broadcast is live tomorrow, July 23rd, as the BRL Super Late Model Series takes on the classic North Wilkesboro Speedway. That stream goes live at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Austin Belkey alongside my partner in the booth, John Hine, our director, Ryan Seneker. Huge thank you to Ryan for bailing us out here. This whole stream tonight would not have been possible without him coming on absolute last minute. So we thank him so much for his
last
time.
second.
Yeah, last second.
Not even a minute.
Yeah, last second. So we'd like to thank him so much for coming on. Did an absolute class act of a job. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.